Hey guys, I'm Holly. Welcome back to the YouTube channel. Today I'm coming to you from my bed because I have a 50 miler this Saturday and I will be spending a lot of time in bed leading up. This is my taper week and I thought it would be a really good opportunity to share my entire tapering routine as I gear up for a really strong race day on Saturday. You guys can take as much or as little of this video as you want, but I'm gonna break it all down from my eating to my recovery, sleeping, stretching, what workouts I am doing, what workouts I'm skipping, and everything else in between. I will also cover at the end a little pre-race motivational speech for you guys. I'm gonna do it kind of off the cuff, but sort of a note to myself, what I'll be thinking about during my race, and hopefully you can apply it to your race no matter what the distance is. Let's jump in, guys. The toughest part for me about taper week is that it's so different feeling from my training plan weeks, especially towards the end when I'm hitting the long runs, the strength, tempo hills, everything is really intense. I feel like I need every single calorie I'm putting in my body, just burning through everything, tired at night, sweating all the time. The taper week feels like nothing. I feel like I am just itching to do something more. I almost get in my head about, am I eating too much for how little activity I'm doing? Am I gonna be ready on race day given that I haven't worked out as hard this week? All those questions come to mind as I get kind of restless waiting around. What I wanna tell you guys though, and I've realized this the hard way so many times, you need the taper week to let the benefits of your training plan sink in. To actually be ready and at your prime on race day at the starting line, you have to approach it this way. You have to dial the volume way back and give your body that time to fully repair and feel at peak strength and peak aerobic capability for your race. That can't happen if you're pushing all the way up until. So as I lay everything out, I want you to know that I am feeling you, I understand you, but I have also made the mistake of not doing the tapering and it did not work out. I promise you that. First things first, I'm gonna tell you how I structure my workouts for my tapering week. One thing I've started doing over the last couple of years that's helped with my mental state as I gear up for a race, especially a long one, is I trick myself into thinking I'm doing more than I am. So what I like to do is lay out my workouts the exact same way I normally would in a training week, a normal training week, but of course I'm cutting the volume way down. Mentally though, I still have it in my calendar as a time to work out, meal after my workout. I am still sweating, I am still putting on the workout clothes and the sneakers. I am going to do something, but it is a lot less. I'm out there for a lot less time. Still, it's on my calendar as a workout and that's good enough for me during race week. So Sunday before race week, I do complete rest day. I'm lazy slob. I literally take 4 or 5 naps throughout the day, dozing in and out of sleep. I just completely lay there and do nothing. If I want to add my Normatec boots, I will do that for a little extra recovery. If I want to schedule a massage, that would be great too. Absolutely nothing that Sunday before. Monday comes, I do my longest workout of the week. This is either usually a 45-minute HIIT class or a CrossFit class, or like 4 to 5 miles at probably 7 out of 10 effort. So a hair up from my long run pace, feel good, whatever my body needs that day. Maybe some rolling hills in there, but I try to keep it mainly flat and just confident getting my feet under me. Nice, good sweat. That is usually pretty easy and standard and feels very similar to normal training weeks, so I'm eating normally on that day for sure. Tuesday comes, I love an active recovery day. I do either a long walk, I might do a bunch of errands that day if I know I'll be on my feet a lot. If I have a lot of clients that day, that is plenty. I could cycle a little bit if I wanted to on a stationary bike, something easy. I would say 30 minutes max probably. Wednesday, I hit one more workout similar to how I normally would in a training week. So this could be another run, it could be another HIIT class, similar to Monday, but I'm gonna cut my effort, how hard I'm trying in this, way down. So say I'm gonna go out for a run, maybe I'll do 3 miles easy, 5 to 6 out of 10. If I wanna take a couple walk breaks in there, I will. I am not really pushing the heart rate too much. If I'm in a HIIT class or a CrossFit class, I am modifying the workout pretty much without fail. So if there's a lot of jump squats, if there's a lot of plyometrics, like crazy stuff that I know is gonna burn up the legs, I do half the number, or I go a lot slower, or I just do small sets, take breaks in between, depending on what the workout is. I just make it easier for myself. I also might, if I was doing a CrossFit workout, and I learned this from my old boss, if you want to just cut half the workout out and stretch and foam roll the whole second half while everybody else does it, that's awesome too. You still have that community vibe, you're still in there with everybody, but you are working on getting your body prepped for your race day. Because my race is Saturday this week, my Thursday is completely off. total rest day. Try not to do anything, try to stay off my feet as much as possible, besides the basic ways of life that I have to be up and about for, but otherwise trying to really do nothing on Thursday. Friday is my shakeout run. My pre-race ritual is a 2-mile shakeout run, nice and easy. This is all about my mental state. This is about building confidence. This is about reminding myself I've done the work, all the miles, all the work is in the bank already. It is not made or broken by this week alone. Everything has already been done. So I just get in a good headspace during the 2 miles. I picture, daydream everything that could go absolutely perfectly on race day, and I finish my run in that headspace. I do a good warm up and a good cool down for all those workouts I mentioned, but especially on that shakeout run. I like doing legs up the wall afterwards. I of course like my foam roll, massage. There's a lot of good tools that are travel size if you guys are traveling, but usually if I am traveling for the race, I'm nice and set and I'm already where I'm gonna be at the hotel and everything for that shakeout run. I like to do a late morning so I can sleep in. I'm gonna talk about sleep more in detail, but I like to do kind of a sleep in and then late morning kind of shakeout run and then have the day. Pick up the bib, etc. All right guys, now I'm gonna cover how I'm eating and hydrating myself leading up to race day. First and foremost, this is not the time to be obsessively calorie counting or cutting back those calories to match your new lower training volume. This is not how it works. Learn from me, I have made that mistake before. If anything, it just adds stress because it's forcing you to not listen to your body. The best thing you can do this week is listen to your body. Do exactly what it wants you to do. If you are doing less volume in your training, like we talked about in those workouts, lowering the volume, and you are less hungry as a result, by all means cut those calories down, for sure. Don't eat a normal plate size that you would when you were in a normal training volume week. If you are still hungry though, listen to yourself. Eat as much as you need. I just recommend sticking to really familiar, healthy foods that satiate you for longer. So for me, I stick to all my simple food groups, the things I'm very used to eating: turkey burgers, chicken, fish, rice, potatoes, pasta if I want it, toast if I want it, lots of fruit and veggies, and I'm always drinking water. This thing does not leave my side all week. Of course, I always have my water with me, but really extra this week. This is always full and ready to go. I like to keep it actually more of a room temperature. I feel like it's easier to chug that way. When it's ice cold, I find my teeth are kind of sensitive sometimes and I just don't find myself grabbing it as much. So room temp water. I also add in daily electrolytes. So I always have at least one electrolyte packet in my water every single day. I love the Element ones. LMNT, I will link those for you guys down below. I have linked them before. I love the raspberry salt flavor and the orange one. One of those a day that just helps, again, kind of stabilize those electrolytes. I know, guys, we're not sweating as much or for as long every day this week, but it's kind of just putting it all in the bank, ready to go for that race day, making sure we're nice and hydrated. It also will help us make better choices with our eating. So going for those good whole foods, things that fill you up, that last longer in your system, that you're familiar with, trying your best to not stress about how much you're eating, going completely off of how you feel. Adding that layer of stress with the calorie counting and worrying about if you're gonna put on weight and whatever, that is not gonna happen just in this 1 week alone. So just calm down with that. I promise if you stress about it, it's probably gonna spike your cortisol levels, that stress hormone, maybe forcing you to eat more than you would or make worse choices than you would. So do not stress about that, just listen to your body. My last point on the food stuff, guys, try to minimize the sugar in this week. Go for low glycemic foods, things that are gonna just burn a little bit slower. If you go for those more high sugary things in this week, it makes it a little bit tougher to sleep because I find that you go up, down, you have those sugar crashes, which normally probably wouldn't affect you too bad, especially if you had somewhere to put it in a longer workout. But if you are going for those sugary options, definitely nowhere close to bedtime. And if you are napping throughout the day, just try to avoid it altogether. I had that sweet tooth, so I understand, but I feel like this is a good move to make in that week leading up. All right, next up, recovery. Like I said, we're in bed because sleep is so vital this week. I start with a really big goal, and then if things fall off a little bit, at least I have majority of my sleep taken care of. I aim to get 9 hours of sleep a night leading up to the race for that week. Every single night, my dream is to get 9 hours. That includes setting up time to be in bed so that I fall asleep in order to get 9 hours, wake up in order to get 9 hours. I plan this out like it's an important work event, literally on my calendar, in bed at this time, wake up at this time, etc. This is just a good starting point, and of course, as a human with obligations and early and late appointments and things that come up out of nowhere, This probably will not happen every single night, but at least I can start with that and hopefully get a majority of nights with a good amount of sleep. We can also supplement here with naps. Again, listening to our body, and as things sort of slow down on the training volume side, we might find ourselves a little extra exhausted as we sort of feel all of that work we did kind of on the back end. You know, things start to sink in and we're like, wow, we did a lot, especially if you had your one last long run on Saturday. Come Tuesday afternoon, you might be ready for a good little refreshing nap. Do it. Listen to the body, 30 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever you have time for. If you have time for something longer, do it. There is not such a thing as too much sleep this week, I promise you that. And outside of sleep, guys, we want to be taking care of our body on an extra level this week. So that means foam rolling and stretching religiously. I try to get in 10 minutes a day no matter what. And what I like to think of it as is part of my workout. So yes, we have a lot less volume as far as sweating and pushing ourselves go this week, but that leaves more time for our foam rolling and our stretching, etc. Tack it onto that short workout you're doing or that active recovery walk, and it will feel like something bigger in your calendar. Kind of tricks the mind again into thinking, oh, we're still doing the same amount of work today, but really the type of work is a little bit different, and it is going to pay off on our race day. And the little cherry on top would be just that extra layer of self-care. We could do Normatec boots if you had those. I absolutely love laying in those for 30 minutes or more, getting the legs flushed out, that compression work. You can even just do the legs up on the wall like I mentioned earlier in the video. That gets that blood draining out of the feet. Really just a nice recovery tool you can use if you have a partner that loves you and can help massage the legs for you, the quads, the hamstrings, the calves, maybe even your upper back. If you're gonna be wearing a pack on race day, that's nice to have this all loose. Or book yourself a massage. Go get in there, or maybe a hot tub session, something additional. Again, we have extra time this week because we're not training as much, so use it to your advantage. Use it for something that's gonna benefit your body on race day. Now I'm gonna give you guys some packing tips. I think this is super important for feeling less stressed because we already have enough to think about come race week. So I like to put my packing into 2 days. A loose pack day and then the final day of packing. And if you're not flying or traveling early that day, this can be done on the same day of travel, of course. Even if you're driving just a couple of hours away, I'm telling you this method really helps take the edge off. So on that loose pack day, we wanna just make a big old pile in different sections of anything we could need. We can always take away, but we wanna start really big with our stuff and then take things out to really dial it down on the second day. So I like to start with multiple things I might wear, depending on if I already have a race outfit planned or if I don't. I will obviously look at the weather. If I have chance of rain or chance of any sort of moisture, I have my rain shell included. I've got my gloves if I might need them, headgear, buff, all those things, potentials and backups. Got extra shoes, of course. The shoes I know I'm gonna run in, backup pair if I need them. My pack, of course. I have all my nutrition, my gels, my electrolytes. I have my salt tabs if I need those. I have a headlamp if I'm gonna be in the dark at all. Then I start to make piles for my crew. If I'm gonna have crew at different aid stations, if it's a longer race like I have for my 50 miler, all things I could potentially need. I have bonus sunscreen, bonus chamois butter, my runner's lube, extra lip stuff. I really am just like, what could I possibly run into on that race day? Lay it all out. Again, it's in piles. We're not even getting the suitcase or the bags out yet. Also, speaking of bags, you want to have a couple extra Ziplocs and grocery bags to make things easy for the people helping you. Or if you do have a drop bag, this is a good time to at least pull out what you're going to use as your drop bag. Drop bags are what you use at different aid stations if you don't have anyone there to support you. If you're going to be switching anything out or changing, you usually need your bib number on there and your full name so that they can move things around accordingly. And of course, you need to know the details of dropping those bags where you need to on race day. So that loose pack day is nice. There's no stress because we don't need to worry about anything. You have plenty of time for things to come to you and think, oh, I put this there, but then I forgot I actually wanted this snack there. I want to wear this shirt, I forgot I had it, etc. All that stuff can come to you. I have plenty of stuff on my channel regarding what you need for a race, but loose pack day is really important. Second pack day, for me this week, it's actually going to be the day of my travel. I will fine tune everything. I get real about what am I actually going to wear on that day. I always have a backup sports bra and backup socks for sure. Those two things can rub in ways that I don't always expect. Despite taping my feet, despite putting my chamois butter in and all around, depending on the weather, I'm gonna be in Kansas this week, could really be a lot of different things. I have watched the forecast change like 20 degrees. So I'm gonna have those things definitely ready to go. I'm also gonna have my rain gear because I know that it might rain that day. And I will start to get a little bit more specific with my actual pack. So my hydration pack, making sure I have the exact number of gels, electrolytes, etc. packed up in there already. Obviously, I won't fill the water till I get there. And then for my crew, I'll have my backups in there, things I would actually eat. I can start to take things away. Obviously, if it's a trekking pole race, you've got those with you. If you're up in the mountains this week, I don't need those, so I won't bring those. But I can really start to get serious about what will fit in what bags, and then I put it all in. The best part of packing is thinking about post-race. My best sweats, my best slides, my best huge hoodie. I love planning for that, so that helps give me more incentive to finish on Saturday. But love splitting the packing into 2 days, really important. And now guys, I will share with you my 2 days leading up routine so that you can maybe copy it, see if it works for you. 2 nights before the race, that is the most important night of sleep of the entire week. I swear by this. If you are traveling and you can help it, make sure you're in a good sleeping space for 2 nights before. For me, I know I will already be in the city I'm going to. I already know where I'm gonna be sleeping. I'm gonna be able to be in bed early, and I will be able to sleep in that next morning, which is awesome. If you can do this, highly recommend. The night before the race, I told you I do my shakeout run maybe late morning on that day, and then that night you want to eat something again that you're familiar with. I typically, if I'm traveling, I look for any version of chicken and rice. Some veggies in there would be a great add, but chicken and rice in general I know sits perfectly with me, fuels me up, makes me sleep very easily. Again, I don't go for super high sugar this day. I try to just keep everything nice and even keeled. I don't want to spike anything in my energy or my adrenaline or whatever as I'm trying to fall asleep when I already have a million thoughts going through my head. So eat something familiar then. My race starts at 7 on Saturday. I'll already have picked up my bib on Friday afternoon. If you want to, you can usually pick up your bib morning of a race for most races these days, but make sure you've got all that ready to go. That'll be the final thing I pin on, of course, when I have my outfit ready. Layers usually for the morning, and then I'll strip down throughout the day. Sunglasses I also meant to mention during the packing. Make sure you have gear for hat, all that stuff to block out the sun. 7 a.m. start for me on Saturday, and then I'm off to the races, hoping for a great race. I wanted to take this opportunity to tell you guys that the way that I talk to myself through a taper week, as I start to get antsy or start to have doubts creep in, is that I remember that all the work has been done. Every single day you got up and got out the door, even if it wasn't pretty, you were adding fuel to your tank. You were adding reasons why you know you will follow through. I always remind myself of that because it's very easy to sink down and think, all this and this and this could go wrong. I could slip and fall. My stomach could act up. I could get really shitty sleep the 3 nights leading up to the race. So many things could happen, but in general, guys, we have done our training plan. Even if we didn't do it exactly how it was written, we have showed up over and over and over again. And I remind myself, it doesn't take a weak person to do that. You actually have to be mentally strong and physically strong to continue to show up and push yourself to the best of your abilities that day, over and over again. So when in doubt, when you're having those low moments in the race, when I'm having the low moments in the race, I remember that things will always swing back up because I've already done that. I've already practiced doing this. Long run days, tough strength workouts, we've already hit mini lows throughout, and we've come out of all of them, right? We've showed up to the start line. So I know that you guys can get through anything you're doing. My dad always reminds me, I've watched him do so many races and Ironmans and stuff. If it goes poorly, if it all goes wrong, whatever, it's another experience you now have to have learned from. And you can try again after, but it's an experience, it's something, again, to go in the bank to teach you something about yourself and give you something to maybe analyze and research and fill that hole up with some more information. We are all works in progress. I promise you guys that. I am too, even though I've done a million of these. I have things to work on, and so every race is an experience for me, and we're so brave to even be here in the first place to try this, to strap those shoes on and really be vulnerable out there for all the things that could happen to us. I'm really proud of you guys already, and I really want to hear about any races you're doing, always in the comments here on YouTube, or if we want to talk more on Patreon. Love you guys so much. I really appreciate the support. Go get it after whatever next race you have. Love you guys. Bye.